Intercultural police forms were realized before the founding of modern nations. In other words, they were taken through interscience, natures, in relationship to what was made to be forced, the only nature of business and of value nature systems, forced to all areas of nations, forced to defense of forced, originally forced markets positions. This is with colonization's terror laws, and this is with how our legal natures failed to have the understandings and to not be already only let realized trained to the natures of logics and of facts treatments, and of opinions predatory to the needs of free speech, and of religion, and of proper facts treatments for the defense of the surface values of the Constitution. For example, colonization's roles with terror laws like witch trials and like slavery, worse, more predicate acts. It's the same organized crime method. In other words, an organized crime, to teach about it, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a police form, I'm not a criminal. To teach about an organized crime form, we have to talk about criminal enterprises, the Bible, the Old Testament. There are proofs that deciphered is about, the front of the Old Testament is about a criminal enterprise that's criminally re-engineered ancient sciences, ancient revelations. For example, each letter of the English alphabet spells out a word, and each word spells out a sentence. For example, that's why with the generation of Eve, the spelling of the letters of their names is in relationship to decipher, which is demonstrating, which is about how we are polarity nature. Alpha and Omega, when Jesus says, I am the Alpha and I am the Omega. There's an art with it, with a capital A on his right when we're looking at it, and on his left when we're looking at it as a W, capital W. Capital W is the Alpha and the Omega juxtaposed. Yet none have risen. Actually, excuse me, my grammar. So intercultural, internation police forms, legal natures were only let realize to breaching functions. As criminal insidious natures in relationship to an organized crime method they don't understand. And in relationship to that, because they don't understand it together, they don't understand how they're justifying what holds them to the maintenance of life progressions needed for them for reasons affected by the archetypal organized crime, the devil. This is more probably this is demonstrably what the Old Testament is, and with our other religions are about. Criminal re-engineering of education, the sciences, human facts treatments, per methods, forcing the law slandered, forcing the law to be ill-natured, insidious good, not real good. There's two natures of the good. Oh, no, you should. For example, in modern times, with treatments of the movement for Black Lives Matter, of course, the Black Lives Matter, and we have to address the facts that are denying and how they've denied and blamed down their lies and delusions, the actual logistical impositions upon Black lives. But see, now that's not accurate. It's what it is upon all lives with linguistic roles, natures of organized crime, uncharged in relationship to our legal natures treatments of the law. This is where we need one of the reasons we need to understand forgiveness differently. In other words, with our opinion natures, they're all predatory because they're all using lies and physical delusions juxtaposed with facts treatments, and per method that has people sharing needs to get away with lying to the common means to do that. So This is also about, there are proofs that the Old Testament is about how ancient science really revealed the name Allah. And there are proofs that the Quran is about art, about criminal enterprise, that criminal re-engineered human education. Al-Jahiliyyah, that's a period that didn't understand the nature of this organized crime, just like up to date. So, what doesn't understand that doesn't understand the proper means to make the argument right. And when people don't make the argument right, and their opinion natures become predatory to other people, not even trying to be, because our standards of the law are left reach. You know, this only we lost on many fronts in the American Revolution to this, inter-science. This only realize her conviction natures to all areas. Because now facts treatments, when you're not dealing with reality, you're going to hurt people. You know what I mean? Because that's how unchanging positive demonstrates positive value nature progressions for its evolution. Here, and when it's not let here, it's forced from here. We must understand the radical Islam, radical religions, radical our founders, radical perception. We see we have the words of our language obfuscated in relationship to nature's the need to perpetuate obfuscated treatments of law. I'm not a lawyer, but see, this is what religions are about. How and why our nations are only realized in the defense of physical delusions and of worse with inter-science positions in all areas, in other words, of judgment, most importantly. So we have black logistical impositions. I blamed on lies and delusion of breaching functions. What was the motivations of the organized crime? To understand that it wasn't one nation's alone. And how it was the sciences that only let those natures of nations realized. And why they brought color into it was in relationship to intercultural police. In other words, in relationship to how Etruscan Rome fell into just being Rome, and everyone forgetting the real actual nature of internation science and of real science. In other words, since ancient times, our original revelations of the species that were originally revealed before criminal persuasions, especially before criminally legalized criminal persuasions, they were criminally re-engineered, and negative value nature progressions demonstrate this. And that was with this organized crime method. It anticipated what happened. To measure and to exploit legal natures only realized as just self-defense natures as roles with it, as wrongdoers in relationship to what makes them predicate act wrongdoers. So when they say shock and awe, that was foreign legal natures apart with those coalitions, and apart with all that has been obfuscating proofs of terrorism, negotiations since before our nation's founding, left and state, and maintaining predatory facts treatments only realized as the natures of the voices, and only not letting poverty, people calling out for a voice, not letting them a voice because other people are saying they have feelings that get hurt when they talk about it. That's why their feelings are getting hurt, because of these natures of organized crime with facts treatments. And it's with legal natures, which means inter-branch. Each branch of government is a legal nature. Each person is a legal nature. Why? Because the physics are in relationship to the laws of the unchanging positive, the only unchanging nature of positive, in demonstration to us actively. But with these demonstrations, worse than just obfuscating, for a method anticipating and needing them to be blamed on other things, on lies and on physical delusions. We have no standards. So then you try to have a conversation about this, and predatory opinion natures jump in just to make just to push a physical fight, because that's top down what, not by accident, our legal natures have. In other words, it's not to blame the physical parties. It's to blame everything. It's to blame the sciences. That's why we have the problems we have. That's why we have broken grammar school logic being forced. The only thing entertained for the debates of the presidents. See the presidential debate between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, the second one, the last one. It was the last one. The whole thing was about sanctions, which are in relationship to criminal enterprises. They define sanctions in relationship to them, in relationship to natures of crime. In other words, they're high penalties of, I'm not a lawyer, they're high penalties, economic penalties, in relationship to offensive criminal insidiousness and all kinds of wrongdoing causations. In other words, this is not against Iran. This is every single nation has the same enemy not being addressed, because it's not sourced from one nation, and we don't have one nation with sciences left. We have peace sciences only in relationship to what is not peace. In other words, per them. But we have insidious fact treatments only let, and free speech not let. And then we have the causes for that, only physical lies and delusions justifying it. So we still have criminal insidiousness narratives needed for long-term breaching evidence fabrication methods with summary convictions of American history regarding the Pilgrims and regarding Native American rights and damages, and this is worse than just everyone, they also have predatory medical relationships and psychology juxtaposed with law in relationship to this. Propagating physical delusions, guys offensively as experts on that, in relationship to only thing, in other words, standards with campuses that are breached per legal nature roles. And this affects this is with evidence fabrication natures that are exploited because they don't understand how only the way they're trained to do their jobs is criminal, so they have to tell lies to do that in measured ways. So they want to keep things hidden, but they don't even understand what they're tied to. So the actual people, in other words, they have physical delusions in relationship to titles and to business and to people's worth, and in relationship to, they're forcing predatory breaching worse than colonization, but functions to it, saying that people's worth is dependent upon money. That's not why our campuses fail. Right there we could begin. Nothing yet been told is worth what's hailed. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but the guy with the protest putting his knee. Ridiculous, top-down, predatory, physical delusions with treatments of facts in relationship to the actual nature of the organized crime positions and tactical positions we face in founding until today. And because everyone's facing logic like that, everyone forsakes what really is upon our streets, forsaken standards. So when the guys will hand the gifts, not right ones, not organization, right. All of this logic forced to entertain is forcing obfuscated facts and actual finite truths. English is revealed to teach this with the sciences. The finite is in demonstration to us actively. Values. In demonstration, they're actively with nature inherent to consciousness. So to understand this, we have to have proper facts treatments, and psychology delusion propagates. So we need them not to be forcing. See, they're forcing evidence fabrication natures that are and methods that are being exploited by all different kinds of juxtaposed criminal enterprises, physical criminal enterprises, juxtaposed to the organization of them per one. That's why they had criminal databases, relationships with colonization that aren't understood. And with only let for standardized predatory and criminal insidiousness narratives with summary convictions forced instead. So they force people who were victim of it because of the color of their skin to have one American history told to them. In other words, they could use correlation. This correlation does not reveals physical delusions and gets rid of them. So they could see, well, this isn't true. These pilgrims weren't, they weren't even on. They were all terror. Even our founders were still forced to terror. It's not just George Washington with physical retreats in relationship to fighting England when they were extorted too. This is inter-science, intercultural, inter-nation. They made the color game to force facts treatment fights that never have the sophistication to deal with the real problem is. It was. Because we're playing out what holds us evidence fabrication natures to all areas. I play no jokes when I say read the natives' dreams. On YouTube, there's a chief who says he wants us to admit what we've done to them. Not color, but he wants the words to explain it. That's what I mean when I say read the imagery. I'm still trying to use correlation. In other words, we need one standard education. We still lost on that front in the American Revolution because we have a breached education. That's not even debatable about lies and delusions. So we have to understand the legal nature of roles forcing the media with only that criminal insidiousness natures, like in other words, the wrongdoers in relationship to where and how our legal natures are that's a predicate act. When you're obfuscating those kind of positions on people still, So then the campuses teach that black is going to physical delusions like black is a substance that needs to be pushed in the business. How long will that take? You know what I'm saying? Right now, we have to admit and understand the nature of organized crime that forced with terror laws, denatured landscapes, denatured soils, forcing chemical treatments to keep the growth growing, forcing everyone into a shared value nature system with shared forced criminal international markets policing entrenched here and abroad, forced all extended, everyone, so everyone's is an evidence fabrication nature relationship into it because everyone needs to work with other people. Everyone needs to work with other people because for the same reason we're a species, because there's one value nature and system and demonstration to us. That's why we're a species. We're inseparable. But when we're separable by those kind of negotiated with terrorism nations, which each one is, there's negative value nature progressions in relationship to it, even more so like that. In other words, there is one law, not let. So, interscience leveraged only let defended justification natures, exploitation natures must be understood. In other words, that's what the organized crime with colonization was. We have to understand how even kings and queens have the same nature of extortion as the leaders of our nations in relationship to legal nature extortions. For example, with the terminology of not just of shock and awe, what reveals shock and awe indisputably a problem, legal nature term, criminal, uncharged though, in relationship to that, for example, is the uses of the term Islamic extremism, and of them taking multi-intellectual fronts with ISIS that are two sides to the same movement, both against the Quran. The nature of the Quran in sequence. The nature of the Quran in sequence gives a person who's a Muslim the right to stand up and not to pray before any of the controversial parts of the Quran are brought up. And respect for someone who's not involved with the criminal insidiousness, with the criminal natures upon all nations and upon the body of Saudi Arabia in particular, in relationship to where all nations, not one, has honesty. This is a problem. We have not one nation with legal natures being, in other words, because of sanctions. They have agreements to pretend business that has bombs at its back is stability. And what's claiming that is forcing only surface logic lies, criminal insidiousness narratives, justified with sub-statutes being used to perpetuate the entire surface value of our Constitution, not left, and maintain to the maintenance of means maintained to all areas to keep people only realize growing up through databases used for ulterior database manipulations of our maze, juxtaposed, denatured landscape and exploitations per the criminal justice industry. So there are judges who are known who have been involved with sending people to prison who didn't deserve it. This is part of it. And there are further correlative proofs of it. But they're blaming it on economic motivations. See, those motivations, we need to gain the sophistication to understand is how the original method of organized crime, of evidence fabrication methods, is to juxtapose in the conversation had by these religions, is to juxtapose with individuals with individual legal natures, because every person is by the law of what's before, with and beyond physics, which is unchanging, positive. Well, the point is, ratiocination you reveal. You deal with real facts. You don't use opinion natures to break the rights of others, because that's all taught to do. That's what they do. So you can't even have it. So if you try to, have a conversation, want to help the Black Lives Matter movement work and evolve, people come in and pretend opinions because they have all the other ulterior motivations to do such with psychologists juxtaposed with each hospital, and police forms, legal natures with that are juxtaposed with database, the nature of our police that they don't even have they were never realized to education that wasn't breached. In other words, the facts treatments that weren't fraud. So they all share lies about physical delusions. In other words, about this guy has a job, so he's all right. And the whole time, that's not a prejudice on people with urban impositions upon them. That just exploited us, pseudo-education, evidence fabrication natures. Those are opinions that can't play themselves out on paper. We have systemic evidence fabrication methods preventing paper from, the law from being used with the courts, and then they write in other into the databases, not by accident. There's a relationship to how police forms are juxtaposed with international ones and with international families with little juxtaposed areas. and with all kinds of narratives in relationship to known juxtaposed criminal enterprises and of other natures of the ones we're talking about with religions in relationship to the motivations of it with our legal natures. So, and again, we're talking about recorded but uncharged, yet uncharged and actively and seriously being hid 9/11 predicate acts. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what the book says. And with no response being given, so they could, in relationship to how our legal natures, our branches of government, to get the stewards of them in Connecticut were juxtaposed to roles and needs to tell lies about strangers and to commit recorded, bad acts against innocents of all age groups, and with them not responding, and with them even directing lies through Connecticut media, and then not even though it's recorded, they won't respond. That's why they won't respond. They pretend not to know. They have Facebook. It's not just that they don't check it, and it's not that I didn't try out the proper ways to communicate. There's too many people telling lies at once, and no one puts anything on paper because of how our legal natures in our branches and police forms, even with our courts, are criminally involved with recorded acts, crime acts, actively, insidiously being pretended not realized, to in relationship to how. So this is nature of organized crime that we lost to. In other words, affronts with facts in relationship to facts treatments and the nature of humanity that sciences are only capable of being the stewards of it, not parents. In other words, if they do that right, if they have our education right, if we heal the campus marcias, we reveal it, even when it's obfuscated, then everything goes away. The whole nature changes. The nature of facts, revelations happen. Real positive value is understood and shared and known, and that is it. And that connects with the greater nature of it, and that forces evolution. Business lies, see delusions, guys, and address the facts. The time protracts in all relent. See presidents, see chiefs, see folks, they can't even have one name. How many chiefs have tried to teach, but none could gain? Denatured is the landscape, forcing native value nature progressions for a method that knew they could be blamed on other things, on lies and on physical delusions. And with that, investing our legal natures deeper and deeper and needs to obfuscate actual finite truth. In actual reality, we have one time right now, not just for when we die, but actively diffusion. We are qualities of diffusion, and top down. Our species is not let be. It's wanted inherent nature. All is tool. Now I'll check now. Then switch to James. Then switch to games. There is one game. There is one positive. There is one identity, and so is one game of games. Who trains? Religion, tribe. We tribe. We crawl through legal natures now. We're right.